All right, welcome to Get Your Life. Today, we are going to do a live reaction to the parole hearing for Robert Charles Wilson. He was found guilty of beating and stabbing his girlfriend in front of her child. He actually stabbed her in the face and in her body. And so, we're just going to add our 2 cents about this parole hearing. And today, I have a co host, Undeniably Her. She's going to tag team with me. We're both into crime. We always talk about crime, so why not um, come on YouTube and, like I said, add our 2 cents. Please keep in mind that this is only commentary. This is only our opinions. So don't take anything we say to heart. But if you do have your own 2 cents, feel free to comment down below. And if you would like to join, you can let me know, and I'll drop you the link, and we can all just have a conversation about this guy here, this inmate, this criminal. Okay, he feels like he can go around and beat on women, so we're going to talk about him. Okay, so Undeniably Her is here. You can go ahead and unmute your mic and
Hello.
introduce yourself. Okay, I can
Hello.
hear you.
Hey, I'm Undeniably Her. Like she said, I'm here to co-host with her to talk about this person who is a woman beater.
Period. That's it. So we about to break him all the way down. Okay, and so let's get started. And at the end, I'll go over some of the police report and the details of everything that he did, because in this parole hearing, he does not say everything. He downplays a lot of it. And luckily, the DA came in um, to to basically tell the truth, to tell the real story, the whole story. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and play the video. And also, we will be stopping along the way. Okay, so just chime in with us. Now, if you do want to see the full video uninterrupted, I will be posting that right after this live without any interruptions. She's trying.
There we try
Good
again.
morning, my name is Sergeant Connie Thorpe with Concordia Corrections.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thanks for accommodating us this morning. I think we have before us Mr. Willis. Mr. Willis, would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number.
My name is Robert Charles Willis, DOC number 769-1111. 119.
119, got it. Okay, so Mr. Willis, could you sit up, please, so we can see your whole face? I can only see, there you go, that's better. Appreciate it. You heard the introductions. Did you hear the introductions of the panel?
No, ma'am, I didn't.
All right, well, let me do that. Let me introduce the panel to you. My name is Cheryl Renatza. To my left is Mr. Danny Barra, and to my right is Mr. Chucky Tillis. Before we begin, I'd like to recognize those who have joined us. We have Mr. Richard Upshaw, Ms. Crystal Upshaw, who both will be speaking. Leona Fitzgerald with the Caddo Victims Assistance Coordinator's Office, and Kristen Parsons, also a Victim Assistance Coordinator with us. I will read some identifying information into the record, Mr. Willis. I'll ask you to verify that information. Then I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Barra. Your case has been assigned to him. He'll take the lead on the questions.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. Willis, you are Robert C. Willis. As you mentioned, your DOC number is 769-119. You are currently serving a 9-year, 6-month sentence, having been sentenced April 26, 2022 in Caddo Parish for aggravated battery and domestic abuse battery. You have a parole eligibility date, which was December 14, 2023, and your mandatory good time release date is May 5th, 2029. Does that sound correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, would you answer Mr. Barra's questions, please?
Sure.
Morning, Mr. Willis. Looking at your record, I had some questions about some of the prior stuff. On February 23rd, 1994, you pled guilty to aggravated assault and simple battery, family violence, and resisting an officer was dismissed as part of that plea. Can you tell me what happened in that case and who was the victim in that case? Was it the same person?
No, sir. It was, my ex-wife. I vaguely remember that. I think she and I had got into an argument about, my clothes. I was supposed to go out and, wanted my clothing and she wouldn't give them to me. I
Y'all
think
got-
that's the incident.
About clothes and it turned into a simple battery and family violence?
Right, right.
All right, well then, after that one, on January 15th, 2003, you pled guilty to violation of a protective order. Who filed that protective order against you? Was that the same ex-wife?
Right. Yes, yes.
And what happened there when you violated that protective order?
Again, I was supposed to go over and get my belongings. She had called me and asked me if she could borrow like $40. And I was supposed to go over and get my clothes if I gave her the $40. But I tried to call her and she never would answer the phone, so I went over anyway. So I go over and there's a guy sitting in the house. So I broke into the house.
But you did know there was a protective order against you at that time?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. All right, so it's still the same person right there.
Right.
On October 29th, 2010, you pled guilty to domestic abuse battery. Is that still the same ex-wife?
No,
No, someone different?
right.
Who was that one?
That was my ex-girlfriend, Nita Bloomer.
And what happened there to get you arrested for domestic battery?
She and I got into an argument over, I had got a phone call on my phone, and she was going through my phone when I came out of the bathroom. Tried to get my phone, she threw it and broke it. And from there, we got into a tussle over that. I picked her up, set her on the outside of the house, told her to leave. She came back in, hit me in the head with a belt buckle. And we got into a disagreement with that.
All right. Then on March 25th, 2011, almost a year later, aggravated battery with a dangerous weapon gets dismissed. Can you tell me what happened in that case that got dismissed and who was the victim in that case?
2011?
Yeah, March 25th, 2011. You had an aggravated battery with a dangerous weapon. The charge ended up getting dismissed. You didn't go to court. The charge got dismissed.
I don't remember that. That 2010 was the last one.
You don't remember nothing about 2000 happened there? And it was
Not
2000.
2011, no.
Okay, well, let's move up to the current case, this case that we're here to talk about right now. In this case, why did you tase and stab Crystal Upshaw? What was the problem? What caused that to happen?
I didn't hear you.
In this current case that you're asking us for parole for right now, why did you feel you needed to tase and stab Crystal Upshaw? What did she do? What did you do? What was the problem with that? What caused that to happen?
Sir, she was never tased. There was never a taser or anything found. Even the police said that. She and I had got into a disagreement over a cell phone. I had put some, or I tried to put some cell phone blocks on the phone that her daughter had, but I didn't think the things would gone through. But they did. Her daughter tried to use the phone that morning and she couldn't. So she comes in all angry and upset about me putting the blocks on the phone, telling me to leave. She was hitting on me. And I should have just got my phone and keys and left, sir. But that's not what happened. She and I got into a physical altercation, and so there's nothing I can do to justify picking up a knife. I can't justify that. I have to take the blame for that. My life wasn't in danger or anything like that. There's nothing I can say to that, sir. There's nothing I can say to justify that.
Right?
Nothing.
So why do you think we should grant you parole today? Why are you a changed man than the guy that I see here on paper? What's different now than it was during all the times I asked you about the past, you know? Why would we think we should let you go?
Sir, back then I had to have things my way, sir. I was somebody who wanted to control things, and me being in here and going through my Celebrate recovery, starting my recovery through Christ and Malachi Dads and all of that, my classes and everything I've taken.
I just wanted to pause right here because although he's taking accountability right now, later on in the video, pay attention to his face when the DA and his ex-girlfriend starts to talk about the details of the case. All in his face, he's clearly going to deny it without saying a word.
Well,
What do you think about it?
For me, I just by him shrugging his shoulders and like, you know, for me, he's taking accountability for it, but to me, it seems like he don't mean it because it's like, oh, well, yeah, I did it, but type of situation. Like I did it and I had no reason to do it. I wasn't threatened, but you're saying that, but at the same time that you're saying that, you shrugging your shoulders. Like, so what, like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
you're
he's
not
shaking
taking
his head,
really
no.
accountability for it because your body language is saying something different.
Exactly. And then this is not the first incident. He just the parole board was asking him questions about other incidents of domestic violence. He
Like,
has a history.
exactly, and a couple of them is over materialistic things, like you beating on somebody for clothes, or
Right.
because
Um,
your ex-wife had another dude in the house. She was your ex-wife, so she could have whoever she wanted to in her home.
right. He's a control freak, pretty much. And he want to control everyone's situation. That's clear to us at this point.
Yep.
So let's get back into it.
I'm just learning, sir, that it's just best to walk away from some situations. I didn't think about the consequences of anything. Now, I can see the consequences of it, sir. And the consequences of it are me being here. There's nobody to blame but me for being in here. I can't blame her. She's to blame for what she did. I'm to blame for what I did. I'm to blame for being here. She's not to blame for that. I'm here for what I did. And I'm not here to defame her or talk bad about her. I'm not going to do that. I take full responsibility for what I did. And I'm trying to correct that here. And I hope I've done that. I'm trying to. And I think, you know, I just want to get my life back together. That's all. I just want to move on. And if I can do that, I'm good. I'm good.
Have you been in trouble while you're there? Have you had any write-ups, any fighting? Have you had any fight?
So what I'm noticing so far is he's saying all of this stuff, but he hasn't even yet to apologize to her.
Yeah,
Like,
you make a good
you
point.
know, he hasn't even apologized to her. So if you meant it and you felt bad for whatever it is that you did, why haven't you apologized to her? Why haven't you said, I'm sorry for doing this to you, and I'm sorry for doing it to you
In front of your daughter.
in front of your child?
Right. And then
He
on
did-
top of that, he said he just want to move on.
And
Well,
not only
she had
that,
lifelong
he's asking baiting questions too. I'm noticing, like,
Yeah,
oh well,
he's leading
she
him.
right. I'm not gonna, defame her or anything like that. He wants them to, it's to me, this is my opinion. It seems like he wanted them to say, well, what is it that she did? Or what is it that, you know what I'm saying? That
Right. Because he
stuff like
brings
that.
up, she hit me with a belt buckle. So that equates to stabbing her.
No,
in the
she face? didn't hit him with the belt buckle. It was the
It was the other,
2010
yeah.
ex-girlfriend who hit him with the belt buckle.
My bad. But either way, he he's a violent person. And
And
it's not fair for him to say, I just want to move on with my life. I just want to be done.
And how long he's been in there? He got 9 years. How many years has he done so far?
4.
That's not enough.
That's not enough. You already got a light sentence for attempted murder. Okay. And you're getting out, you're trying to get out early.
Yep. So
And
have you taken any classes?
what?
What have you done to make sure that you're better? Because this is a repeated thing for you.
Right. And this is why, I don't know if you remember, there was an old parole board hearing, board members, I should say. And it was a judge on there by the name of Miss Jackson. If she was here at this parole board hearing, she would be grilling him, asking more questions. Like, they're very light on him about the questions and the details about what he actually did. They're letting him get away with giving these mediocre, half-assed answers, to the questions and downplaying it. They need to dig in more to see exactly where his mindset is at. And I don't know, we'll probably hear it later, if he did take any classes. I don't believe he did, but we're going to get into that in a minute.
Like I said, I don't think 4 years is enough, because this is
I
something
might
that
be wrong on that, but we'll hear and see exactly how many years, because he had a 9-year sentence. And then I know after this, he gets out in a year. So let's keep listening to see exactly. So
I thought they said 20. He can't. He did this, but his initial date to get out is 2029, right, or something like that.
We're about to see. I watch so many, so sometimes I get the cases confused. But no worries, we'll hear it in a few minutes.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and continue.
Write-ups for fighting, or any kind of write-ups while in prison?
While in prison,
Yeah, since you've been there.
I came down with COVID-19. First couple of weeks that I got to jail, and they thought I was gonna die. And I don't remember the incident, but because I was out of it most of the time, but they bought me some paperwork and told me that the guy that I was in the cell with attacked me in the cell. I don't remember it. I was out of it. And they put him in lockdown. So that's the only incident with that I've had. And I don't even remember that clearly.
And I don't feel bad, because that's what he get. Your ex-girlfriend had to endure those same conditions, if not worse. So nobody cares.
A lot of these people like him, and people who do essay on people, when they go to jail, they have perfect behavior.
Oh yeah, that is true.
So, you know what I'm saying? You can be out in the world and do whatever you do, but when you in a place with a bunch of men, you won't do that to them, but you will do it to a woman before you do it to a man. You can't stand up to a man.
Exactly. And so he wants somebody to feel sorry for him right now. And personally, I don't.
Me either.
Let's continue.
Can anyone staff at the location there verify that is correct, that it was only one violation? Is anybody there?
That didn't happen at this facility. That happened in my parish in Canada.
No.
But at this facility, I haven't had any problems or anything. Nothing like that. It's been pretty good here. Been pretty good. I get along with everybody here. Staff, inmates, everything. I get along with everybody.
All right. That's the end of my question.
So when you mentioned, Mr. Willis, we were talking about the current incident with the cell phone and Ms. Upshaw and the child's phone. How old was that child?
think she was 9 at the time.
So the stabbing took place in front of her?
I think so.
Well, that's a yes or no. Yes or no?
Ma'am?
Yes or no?
I believe so.
And how many times did you stab Miss Upshaw?
Once.
Okay, so when you were, you mentioned, you haven't had any issues since you've been there, and you mentioned your Celebrate Recovery. What other programs have you been able to take?
I've taken the Malachi Dads program. I'm in the Recovery Through Christ program now. I've had the Living in Balance 1 and 2, Change Your Age, and your anger management classes that
What'd you learn from anger management?
I've learned, ma'am, that you don't blame anybody for your actions. And that's what I've been doing. I've been blaming people for my actions. And I'm responsible for that. You know, I could have walked away instead of turning around, coming back. I should have just kept going, you know, especially with the situation the way it was. But I take responsibility for that, you know, learning just to walk away. And there's just some things that are just not worth arguing or fighting. Some things is just best to walk away from. And if
So
there's nothing.
how long have you been in jail, Mr.
Say anything. Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Willis? How long have you been in jail?
I've been in jail going on 4 years.
So you've served about 4 years of your 9.5-year sentence.
Yes, ma'am.
And how old are you?
I'm 55.
You are classified as a first offender, but Mr. Barra went over some other arrests. So you've been in jail before. Is this the longest period of time you've been in jail?
Yes.
All right. Sergeant Thorpe, is there anything you can tell us about Mr. Willis?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Willis is our trustee out here in our offices in the, we call it the drug building, but it's where we have all our classes and everything. And, he's having some medical issues, and I'm trying to get the nurse to see if I can get her to come out here so she could tell y'all what was going on with his medical issues, if that's okay. Y'all have time for me to get her out here?
Is she close?
She's probably about 3 minutes out.
Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and move on and hear from those who want to speak, and we'll hear from her right at the end.
All right, thank you so much.
And ma'am, I have my cousin. She had wanted to participate, and Miss Book had sent her information in, her phone number and everything. So
We haven't heard from her this morning, so I don't know if she's having some difficulties, but we're gonna go ahead and move on, Mr. Willis. We'd like to hear from that if there are no other questions. I'm sorry.
No, I think you answered the ones I wanted to know.
Could we hear from Mr. Richard Upshaw? Jonathan?
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
If you are granted parole, where are you probably planning to go back? Because it seems like the history that you had with your girlfriends and your ex-wife, you continue to have a relationship with them. Where would you go to live?
I have a cousin that lives out in the country that spoke to me and said that I can come and live with him until I get my own place back in Shreveport.
So that's where your girlfriend and the ex-wife is?
Is that where I'm going?
Is that where your girlfriend and your ex-wife is?
They live in Shreveport.
So you plan to go back, or you'll probably be around them again?
No, sir. Probably be in the same city, but no, not hanging out. No.
Mr. Upshaw? We're trying to, Mr. Upshaw's logging in. Mr. Upshaw, are you with us? There you are. Sir, we'd like to hear what you'd like us to know.
Okay, I just feel like that Mr. Willis already got a break. I think he already got a break because he committed this crime in front of my grandchild, right? In front of a small child. And he got 3 years extra, I believe, for that, but it runs concurrent. So in the real world, he's really not serving any extra time for that. So that gives him 2 for 1 on 3 of his years already. I would like y'all to consider the fact that he actually planned this out. He had it planned out. He brought the stun gun and the knife, whatever he used, with him that day. He wasn't living there anymore. He came up and asked her, could he just come in and lay down and take a nap? This was planned out.
So he asking to get out now. So if he get out now, he's only getting out. It's even though it's concurrent, it's really he only served the
4
offense
years.
of the 4 years. But to me, it'll only be for the child. You know what I'm saying?
Right, because he got 3 years for
Because he got 3 years for that.
that crime. Right.
So it wouldn't be you wouldn't even be serving time. You haven't even served time for what you did to her. And
Right.
you're already trying to get out. Like he ain't finished doing for what he doing to people. He gonna continue when he get out. He gonna continue doing this because you trying to take an easy way out. With this.
Exactly. He's trying to take the easy way out, and then he made a statement that he will be living in the same area of where his wife and ex-girlfriend lives. That's already a red flag.
Exactly.
I'm sure he feels a lot of resentment.
And before he hesitated, before
Mhm.
he answered that, he hesitated, and then he was like, "Well, yeah, like when they asked, so you still gonna have communication with them? Are you still gonna try to be around them?" He was like, and I think he shook his head yes,
But said
but
no.
he said no.
Yep. That's his
And
subconscious.
he does that a lot. He'll answer a question, he'll shake his head, but then it'll come out with a no.
Mm-hmm.
His body language says it all.
Yep, he's very deceiving, and he's playing a game. You could tell. Watch when the father's talking, and especially when the DA starts talking, he's making faces. He's like, he's making faces as if he want to say they're lying. He can't be trusted.
Yeah, because he said he didn't tase her. He said he didn't tase her, but they're saying he tased her.
Right, and it's in the police report, and then she also has proof that he tased her, which we'll see later on.
Yeah, nah. He definitely he need to serve his whole time.
Right. And like the father said, he's getting off easy, and the being that he did get extra time for doing the crime in front of the daughter, like you said, he's pretty much
But that's only 3 years for that. And it's like, when he get out, is he allowed to be around children?
I wonder. Now they don't mention that, but he
You know what I'm
definitely shouldn't be allowed to be in the same city. He should be forced to move out of that city. And
if you're going to be in the country, you need to stay in the country. There's so many other places that you can go to. Why would you want to go back to where you committed these crimes at? Because it's gonna be triggers. It's a trigger. That's like putting somebody who SA'd somebody, especially a child, in a like in an area where there's gonna be a bunch of kids. They're not gonna have the urge is gonna come back to them because they're around it.
Exactly. Let me continue.
If I had not answered the phone that morning, my daughter would not be here. He told her he was going to kill her. And if he had successfully killed her, what do you think he would have done with the only witness to that being my granddaughter? I don't think I would have either one of them today. So I don't think he's learned his lesson. He's got a past history of violence with women already. And I just don't think he should be getting out. I don't think he served enough time to be fair punishment for what he did.
Yes, sir, Mr. Upshaw. Thank you. We appreciate so much you sharing those thoughts with us.
Yes, ma'am.
Crystal, Ms. Fitzgerald, is Crystal with you?
Good morning. Yes, ma'am. Crystal's right here to my right.
Okay, good. Crystal, good morning. We'd like to hear from you, ma'am.
I just want to talk a little bit about the stuff that happened to me, my injuries. I got stabbed multiple times. The worst one was the one in my face. It went all the way through. This whole side of my mouth it no longer works. I can't use mouthwash. If I go out to eat, food falls out of my mouth. I have several other scars all over my body where the knife just sliced me. He threw me around and beat me for so long that I had a collapse and punctured lung, and I had a chest tube for 4 days. I spent about 5 days in the hospital and another week and a half at home and missed a lot of work. I still have really bad anxiety and PTSD from it. And it's not only me, it's my daughter. She's just now gaining back a little bit of peace of mind to be able to go to school or go outside and think everything's okay. She still doesn't do a lot of stuff without me. She's got really bad separation anxiety. But we're just doing our best to get through it. And no time will ever be enough time. But I think it's too soon for him to be released.
Oh, Lord.
I just want to say, look at him. He's not even paying attention when she's talking.
And he has a little smirk on his face.
Right. That is so sad, with the injuries that she just explained and the PTSD that her daughter has. And he's sitting there with a smirk on his face.
He's very nonchalant.
Right. Let's continue.
Ms. Fitzgerald?
I don't know if they can see me on there or not. Hi, how are you?
Before we hear from Ms. Fitzgerald, we'd like to go ahead and hear from the nurse. Is that okay, Ms. Fitzgerald?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Go ahead, ma'am. If we could adjust the camera just slightly downward.
Come adjust this and turn them. I can't hear it. The volume up with it.
There we go. A little better. All right, ma'am, we can hear you just fine. You want to tell us a little bit about some health issues?
Yes, ma'am. He's been having some recent health issues with anemia. He had a bunch of tests done at the hospital. He was having some severe diarrhea and things like that. So what we're working on, I haven't put his paperwork in yet. Doctor's watching his labs. He had a hemoglobin of like 7.6, which is on the borderline of receiving blood. We put him on iron, but he's got a gastrointestinal consult to go to. We don't have an appointment on that yet. But doc diagnosed him with severe anemia. So we really don't know what's going on yet, but we're waiting to get results.
Well, we appreciate you sharing that with us. Thank you. We appreciate you sharing that with us.
If there's anything else, I can send you paperwork if you need it also.
I mean, and just to be a little petty on the strength of the victim, how much blood you think she had to go get? Being that she lost a lot of blood and you left her there lying on the ground.
Yeah, well,
Bleeding.
I know that for some cases and some people, anemia could be, um, you know, life-threatening for them. But you're coming on here saying that he has a medical condition and you're trying to like
Gain
get him,
sympathy.
yeah, gain sympathy and for him to be able to get out earlier because he has severe anemia. There's a bunch of pregnant women who have severe anemia. I
Exactly.
had severe anemia when I had my last kid. And what
Right.
do they do? They gave me iron transfusions. They give you blood transfusions. They do whatever. It's not like it was back in the day where you die
Right.
faster from it. They got so much technology that they can treat you in jail.
Right.
So
He doesn't have a
that's not
life
grounds
threat.
for you to get out.
Exactly. He's trying to gain sympathy and get out for a medical reason. That's what he's trying to do.
Exactly. There's people in prison who got cancer.
Right. And did you see the DA Fitzgerald? She was laughing. She kind of
Yeah,
leaned
because
back and laughed like,
because anemia, yes, for some people it can be a serious thing, especially if you have underlying conditions,
right.
right? But for him, I think they try to play it to be more serious than it
What it
actually
is.
is. Because if it was that bad, they would have already gave him
He would
blood
have been on the
transfusions.
medical side of the prison.
Yeah,
That's
and he's in regular population.
right. He doesn't have a serious condition. And just to be bottom line is we don't care. Okay? That's what you get.
Yep.
Honestly, that's how I feel. Because
Yep.
this lady has way more issues and underlying conditions that she has to live with for the rest of her life.
And
Okay?
she lucky that she was maybe I'll say maybe 2.5 weeks. She was in hospital for 5 days, and then she had to miss work. She's lucky that's all that happened because it could have been
Right.
way worse where she had to go to rehab, where she had to go to, you know what I'm saying, all these other
Right.
things that she would have had to do. She got lucky that it wasn't all of those things.
Exactly. And he got lucky it wasn't worse than that. It's he could have killed her. Okay?
And
So let's
like her dad said, if she would have died, what he would have did to the child,
exactly.
because he don't care.
Right.
We'll put a copy in the file if you'll send it over.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Willis, before we move to Ms. Fitzgerald to close it out for us, I have one question, then I'm going to ask you for your closing statement. The child in question that we're talking about, Rania, I don't really know how to pronounce her name, the 9-year-old child who was present, was that your child as well?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so that's Miss Crystal's child, not your biological child.
Right.
Is there a statement you'd like to say to us before we turn it over to Ms. Fitzgerald?
Yes, ma'am. I never tased anybody. I never came or planned out anything. I was still staying there at the time. I came there, what Mr. Upshaw said was true. I came there to lay down and because I slept in the car all night and I thought everything was pretty good. So I decided I was going to get up and go and leave. I'd already started looking for me somewhere to go. I'd already decided that at the end of the month that I was going to move. She didn't know that. She suspected that. But I never planned out anything as to come there and do anything to anybody. I never tased anybody. There was a taser never found at the scene or anywhere. She never had any taser marks on her anywhere. That never happened. The other parts of it, that's true what she said. That's true. The taser part never happened. Punctured lung, all of this. I don't know anything.
So he keeps saying the taser was never found, as if that makes it any better. Just because the taser wasn't found don't mean you didn't do it.
Exactly. He's using that as a reason to say, like you said, if there's no face, no case. If there is no taser, then that means I didn't tase her. because he's trying to base it off of purely evidence that they don't have, which is the actual device. However, she does have evidence that's on her body to this day, and she's about to show that in a few minutes. But the fact that
And why were you sleeping in your car? Why was obviously there
I
was
think he was
something
stalking
going
her.
on.
That's what he was doing.
I
He's trying to
think
say,
so too.
my plan was to leave. My plan was to leave. Your
So if you was planning on leave, why would you wait a month
right, sir?
or
You're
wait till
lying.
the end of the month?
He lying. He was out there waiting outside of her house.
And you turned the child's phone off, and that for me makes me feel like you weren't staying there anymore, or you weren't allowed to be in that house anymore. Because why would you do something so petty as to turn a child's phone off? Children these days go crazy over their phones,
right? And not only that,
you know what I'm saying? So you knew
our kids.
Exactly, but he knew that was going to cause an issue. He wanted it. To me, it seems like he wanted the issue to happen so he can have an excuse. Well, all I did was turn the child's phone off, and she started hitting me, and all these things started happening, or whatever the case is. So that made me do what I did.
Yep, that's his excuse. Let's finish.
Saying about that, I heard that at the trial. It was never mentioned in any paperwork, even in her statement, if you had it, that she said herself that she never had they don't know why her lung collapsed, that there was no knife mark wound done to her lung. None of that, ma'am. None of that. But like I said, I'm not gonna try to make her look bad or anything. Like I said, I'm to blame for all of that. I'm to blame for what I did, and she has a right to feel the way she feels. Her dad has a right to feel the way he feels. I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. I understand that, but I'm trying to do everything I can to get myself together so I can get my life restarted.
Okay. Yes, sir. Well, thank you so much. We're going to move on to Ms. Fitzgerald. Would you close it out for us?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. I'm Leon Fitzgerald. I'm the director of the Victim Assistance Program for the Caddo Parish DA's office. And I'm here with Crystal today, but I would like to speak on behalf of the office. Of course, we oppose parole for Mr. Willis. I've been waiting for him to give me something that would give me a little hope about him, but unfortunately, he pretty much just sounds like the victim in all of this. I'm glad that Mr. Barra went through his rap sheet with him, because when you look at it, it's not the worst rap sheet that I've ever seen, but it is absolutely textbook in line with a narcissistic batterer controller who, like, the violation of protective order, because nobody's going to tell him what to do. The law, the court, if he wants to go over to somebody's house, he's going to go over there. And all of the explanations that he gave were what the other person did. And I never heard him really say, I did a dumb thing, or I knew I wasn't supposed to go over there, but I did it anyway. It was just going to get my clothes. Or we argued over her throwing his phone and got into a tussle. Well, how does, everyone's husband might have thrown their phone, but that doesn't mean somebody ends up getting arrested. So I'm very unimpressed with the way that Mr. Willis recounted his previous criminal history. And then just to focus on what he's here for today, I'm amazed at how poor his memory can be about things that were very significant, like not remembering if Renea was there whenever he attacked Crystal. She was very much there. She was very much scared to death, and he was actually convicted of domestic abuse with child endangerment, which means that it was proven beyond a reasonable doubt that he did this in the presence of a minor. But it's so insignificant to him that he doesn't even remember if she was there or not. I don't know why Mr. Willis is so adamant about denying the business with the taser, because it was talked about in his jury trial. Miss Upshaw very much was tased. In fact, she's given me permission to show a scar that she still has right here from a taser, even though Mr. Willis seems to know that she doesn't have any scars from it. This was a prolonged attack. This man took a knife to this lady, and you've heard about the lasting scars that she has, the lasting results from it, the injuries, the effect that it still has on her, drooling when she tries to eat. So I don't think that Mr. Willis is very aware of how his behavior and his violence affects other people. And for a 9-year-old child to have to witness something like this being done to her mother and live with the aftermath and be scared to be away from her mother, and he doesn't even remember if she was there. So I think that he's willing to admit to the knife to this board because the knife was found, and he can't deny that. But he won't admit to the taser because what does he keep saying? There was no taser found. There was no taser found. Well, just because it wasn't found didn't mean that he didn't use it. So I think he's admitting to just enough and saying just enough to accept responsibility to bamboozle this board so that he can get out and go on to do the same thing to more unsuspecting women. So on behalf of the DA's office, I respectfully request that you deny his parole. If the court does see fit to grant him parole, we would ask that he not be allowed to return to Caddo Parish. I'm sure none of his victims want him here, and that would definitely put Crystal and her daughter in great fear and cause them even more anxiety to know that he was back here in the city of Shreveport. So thank you very much for letting me speak.
All right, and thank you, and we appreciate your participation. Mr. Willis?
Ma'am, can I say something?
No, we're ready to vote now. We're prepared to vote. Mr. Byra will be voting first.
Before I vote, I just want to add to the record something that did not come out was that there's extremely strong law enforcement opposition. The judge is opposed, the sheriff is opposed, as you heard, the DA is opposed, chief of police is opposed, and that's all in the towns where you committed a crime and want to go back to. So today, I vote to deny the parole based on the serious nature of the crime you committed in this case and your prior history of violent behavior, the strong law enforcement opposition and victim opposition.
Okay, Mr. Tillis?
Mr. Willis, it seems like you're trying to make some progress, and that's good. Sound like you admitted to what you've done, and that's good. I think you need some more training. Seem like you have a problem with, like you said yourself, being in charge, and you can't do that all the time. And because of the crime that you've done, I think some more training, and you probably keep your nose clean and keep going. I'm going to have to deny also.
Mr. Willis, you do have some.
I just had to pause because I don't like that the board member was basically praising him for doing good. There's nothing that was said that proves that he was doing good since he's been in prison. He's still in denial. Most of the time when you meet with the parole board, they want you to take accountability for everything. Once you admit that you were wrong for everything, then that gives you some credibility that you have been rehabilitated and is now taking responsibility for the crimes that you committed.
Right. And it's
So
crazy that all law enforcement across the board is like, hell no.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Everyone
Like
opposed.
everyone is like, no, absolutely not. And you
Yep.
still want to go to the same place that you did this at. And you still have yet in this video apologized to her for anything.
Mm.
So how much accountability are you really taking? Because if you was sorry, you felt bad for what you did, you would have apologized. And not once have you apologized to her, her child, or her father.
Right.
Really, some letters in the record of support from the folks there at the facility where you're at. You're really doing a good job, and they speak very highly of you. That doesn't negate, though, what we've heard today in the strong opposition. And, I do agree that with Mr. Upshaw about your sentence, I think you got a light sentence, but I think you need some more training. I would encourage you, if you have, if it's available to you there, to take the victim awareness class. I think you would benefit from that and have a better understanding of all your victims. My vote today is to deny based on the strong opposition that's been expressed today and the history of domestic abuse violence. But I do wish you well. I hope that you stay the course and you continue working on yourself, like you said. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, thank you.
That concludes our business in Concordia. Thank you, Sergeant Thorpe, for accommodating us. We're going to sign off at 9:37.
Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all have a blessed day.
Okay. So now I just want to pull up the more details of what actually happened. Hold on 1 second. All right, so just bear with me. It's my first time doing this. Where did it go? Okay. All right. So this is the details about what happened. Robert Charles Wilson was 53, found guilty. And so, like I was saying, I felt like he should have been charged with attempted murder, but he was only charged with aggravated battery and domestic abuse with child endangerment. Okay. And so more details about what happened that day. So what happened was he went to the house that he shared with the victim, and he punched her and stabbed the victim, causing injuries to her jaw, shoulder, and body. As we know, he stabbed her through her mouth. That was one of the major injuries that is causing her now not to be able to eat properly. She basically can't close her mouth all the way. And so the victim managed to call her father during the attack, and upon hearing his daughter and grandchild screaming in the background, he called 911. When the officers got there, the victim was taken to the hospital for treatment, and she received stitches, and she did explain, that she was in the hospital for about almost 2 weeks. And so this description right here explains how much he downplayed what happened. He said, we got into a disagreement. We got into a little fight. I grabbed a knife, but I don't know why. He's talking so nonchalantly, like it's nothing. And so he deserves to be in prison for the rest of his whole time. It should have been a murder case, attempted murder, and, possibly life. But he definitely needs to stay in prison for his entire sentence. And so I just wanted to bring that up and show you guys more details about that. But yeah, that was a parole hearing 2 days ago. And so that's it. I just make sure that you guys her, do you want to say anything before we go?
I hope that he get the help that he need, because there's a lot of people out there a lot of that goes through this, and he is not taking accountability at all for anything. So hopefully at his next parole hearing, he don't get out, and he continue trying to figure out what he need to do to fix himself, and hopefully they don't allow him to step foot in Shreveport at all. If he going to the country, wherever that may be, he need to stay in the country wherever that is.
Right, because no one is safe. And unfortunately, he's gonna, run into another victim, another woman that has no idea of what his past is like, and don't, hopefully, God forbid, she makes him upset, you know, and then he turns on her, and you know he's right back. But the great thing about it is, well, if he gets out on parole, then that means he will be on parole and have a lot more stipulations. That's a good thing about being on parole. But if he serves his whole time, then you know he won't be bound to, you know, checking in with
Anything.
people, you know.
Right.
So
Right.
it's like a catch-22 with him serving the whole 9 years versus him getting out on parole, so that they can watch, and they would have to, you know, keep tabs on him.
One thing I did not like is how she brought up that the personnel in the jail or the prison, because he's not in jail, he's in prison, is like, oh, he's good and he doesn't get in trouble and he doesn't, you know, any of those things, but that don't matter because he's confined. So of course he's gonna be on best behavior. It's when he get on the
Right.
streets
And
is when he
he's not gonna hit a man. Like she said, he's a narcissist, and he's only not man enough to hit women. He's not getting in a fight with anybody in there. Most men
no.
like that are okay with putting their hands on women, but wouldn't dare, you know, step up to a man that same way.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
you know, well, you know, that was it. I have another parole board hearing coming up, and if you like this video, please be sure to subscribe. Also subscribe to Undeniably Her. We're gonna come back, and she'll have her channel, and I'll want everyone to make sure they go subscribe to her. We're gonna be doing a lot of collabs, and possibly soon we have our own personal story. Well, she has her own personal story with a family member that is up for parole, and so we want to bring that to you guys, and we're gonna make sure we present
Yes,
that.
we definitely do want to bring that up. It'll be trigger warnings for some people.
Mhm.
But it's just like, you know, she does this for other families. You know, we want to bring it up and be like, you know, she's not only trying to put those people out there, but like she said, we have a real life story that we want to bring up so that people can see this is why she does this.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Exactly.
so
It's not just to
and
put other people on, but I mean,
on
I don't
blast.
care when if you've done a crime, then you know this is open to the public. So you're gonna be put on blast. If you don't want to be put on blast on YouTube, don't do a crime.
Exactly.
Period.
Exactly. Some people are innocent, some people aren't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but whatever it is gonna be put on blast, and if you don't like it, you don't like it.
Right.
That's how I feel about it.
Right. I mean, we're definitely gonna keep deep diving into these stories, you know, and just giving you guys showing you what's out there. And you never know. This is also good because if these people are getting out on parole and you don't know who they are, but you happen to see them on my channel, then now you can watch out for them. Okay.
Yep. Because these people
So
don't, especially when it comes to women, they don't discriminate. Because a
right.
lot of these men that do this
Hide
will
and
not do it to a man. As soon as a man step foot to them, oh, bro, I don't want no beef. I don't want no issue. You know, you got it. You got it. They are those type of people.
Right. So we'll be back. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to subscribe, like
And
this
bear with
video.
us. This is
Bear with
our
us
first
time.
live.
Right. And
Next
share
time, maybe we might show our faces. But you know,
right.
we got to get comfortable with it. It's the first live, so hopefully you guys liked it, enjoyed it. Remember to like, subscribe to her, and I'll have my stuff up and running soon.
Coming soon. All right. Get your
All right,
life.
thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, bye.
Bye.